This video is kindly sponsored by Shortform.
I learned something from a flat earther over the weekend who messaged me on Minect, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys.
One of my habits now is ignoring all data. It's great.
If this video does not convince you that Candace Owens is one of the last people on Earth anyone should be taking any advice from, then I'm not sure what will. She's exposed her cards well and truly, and if you'll give this a pass, then the world is more than I thought. As I've extensively covered on this channel, Candace's conspiracies range from the superficially plausible to the outright absurd. Ironically, she's often debunked by the very sources she presents in her favour, a good old Trojan source as we've christened it. But despite what are, by my light, obvious errors, her audience seems unfazed, treating their intuitions as if they somehow trump facts and peer-reviewed data. Surely, though, people don't really think this way, do they? Rather, what's going on is they've been caught and they need an ad hoc escape so that they can later research and better defend their view. Well, no. No. It seems not, at least when it comes to Candace. In the following clips, all from just one 10-minute segment, Candace reveals her mindset.
Can you guys imagine being married to me?
I'd prefer not to.
Can you guys imagine being married to me? My poor husband, he rolls over, he's like, "What are you reading?" And I feel like a regular wife says something, I don't know, maybe a love series, Nora Roberts, sweeping her away. Me, on the other hand, he rolled over, he asked me, and I said, "Oh, I'm reading a flat earth theory." And it dawned into an entire conversation. He's like, why are you reading a flat earth theory? And I'm like, because somebody messaged me on Minect about it and they included some links and I'm just reading them. I don't know. I'm just an interested person. No matter what, if there's a bunch of people that believe something, I now want to know what it is that they believe.
Fair enough. I do the same with Christianity. But the problem is, Candace, you've now almost certainly done more research into the flat earth than you have ever done for the spherical model.
And of course he pushed me on this and he was talking about the earth curvature and science.
It's almost as if he knows you, Candace. He knows that when you say you're an interested person, you mean you're diving into conspiratorial content.
And I said to him, listen, I'm not a flat earther. I'm not a round earther.
And in his heart of hearts, he said to himself, Candace, darling, oh,
actually, what I am somebody who has left the cult of science.
Left the cult of science, she says, while using science to broadcast her bullshit. What you mean, Candace, is that you treat science as you treat your religion, like a buffet, choosing what you want to eat and discarding the rest. You were never interested in science. You've never respected peer review. You've never acknowledged that there's such a thing as expertise. You haven't left anything. But for those of you who are interested in science and want to learn as much about everything as quickly as possible, especially you, my fellow crew aboard the HMS ADHD, let me introduce you to a little something that's revolutionized my approach. Shortform. I've been using this tool for a few months, and so when they offered to sponsor a video, they made my day. Seriously, just give me a minute to tell you why you should consider the unique deal that they've given us. How many books are on your Kindle list? I have tons, and one I keep returning to but ironically can't get through is Taking Charge of Adult ADHD by Russell Barkley. Shortform has a 40-minute rendition of this book. Now, it's not a replacement, as Shortform themselves emphasise, but it's a phenomenal way to check out the key ideas and decide whether to invest in reading the full book. The icing on top is that they have excellent, and I do mean excellent, text-to-speech, so you can listen to the book while walking, hitting the gym, or doing chores.
For too long, conventional wisdom suggested that attention deficit/hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, was a diagnosis that only applied in childhood.
And they have tons of books in multiple categories, with communication, history, and philosophy being my favourites. I adore this app for its quality content, and I know that you will too. If you click on my link, you will get a 5-day free trial and 20% off. This is a great way to broaden your mind and, of course, support the channel. Thanks.
Actually, what I am somebody who has left the cult of science. I have left the mega church of science because what I have now realized is that science, what it is actually, if you think about it, is a pagan faith.
And this, my fellow apes, is a very typical move made by many religious people. They call the views they don't hold faith, as this puts them on par with their own religious faith. But I'm not here to talk about the equivocation of the word faith. No, there's much more interesting stuff here.
Because what I have now realized is that science, what it is actually, if you think about it, is a pagan faith. I'm going to give you an example of exactly what it is I'm talking about in case you think you disagree. A woman tweeted this.
Candace gives an example of a random person on Twitter 4 years ago saying that the IUD, the copper coil birth control, is ineffective and dangerous.
It's literally a copper device that is inserted into a woman to make it so that she does not become pregnant. It's birth control, and yes, it is marketed as both safe and effective. All the best stuff, by the way, is marketed as safe and effective.
Because it is. IUDs are 99% effective. I would know, not only due to the evidence, but also my wife has one, and all risks are minuscule. In fact, for an average person in the US, the risk of serious complications from an IUD is lower than the risk of being in a car accident in a given year, regardless of how often they drive or ride cars. But why would Candace care? She doesn't value facts, does she? She doesn't value reason. She doesn't value science. She'd rather trust some rando on Twitter who promotes views she agrees with.
I have suffered from this condition of not trusting authorities when they say something to me that is so obviously stupid my entire life.
I'm glad you recognise the condition, Candace, but it's more of a bias known as the Dunning-Krueger effect. It's a phase that most of us go through, but fortunately, most of us emerge from it. It occurs when people with limited knowledge or expertise in a specific domain overestimate, often grossly, their own knowledge or ability.
I just know things because I've been around.
Second, a failure to recognise genuine skill or expertise in others.
And yes, it is marketed as both safe and effective. All the best stuff, by the way, is marketed as safe and effective.
Third, an inability to accurately assess one's own incompetence. Due to their lack of knowledge, these individuals can't accurately evaluate their own limitations.
When they say something to me that is so obviously stupid.
In Candace's case, her stating that she doesn't trust scientific data or authorities when they say something she perceives as obviously stupid is a very obvious manifestation of this effect. She knows fuck all about fuck all, but can't see it.
I have suffered from this condition of not trusting authorities when they say something to me that is so obviously stupid my entire life.
Anyhow, from here, Candace praises Andrew Tate.
I know a lot of people feel that they don't understand why he has the platform that he has, but I found this clip to be extremely interesting. Take a listen.
One of my habits now is ignoring all data. It's great. I love when people come to me and say, actually, we've got the data to prove. To prove what, you little p***? What are you going to prove to me? I can prove to you that the ice caps are melting. There's ice in my water right now. I'm going to leave the water unattended until the ice melts. Will the water overflow out of the cup? No.
Wow. Just wow. Wow. Okay, Andrew, why don't you sit your little bitch ass down? Because here's a basic lesson you'll refuse to hear. Sea ice is frozen seawater that floats on the ocean surface, just like the ice in your cup.
There's ice in my water right now.
When sea ice melts, it doesn't significantly change sea levels.
Will the water overflow out of the cup? No.
And it won't overflow because the ice already displaces its weight while floating. This is known as Archimedes' principle.
No.
No, it is, Andrew. For real. But get this, land ice does cause sea levels to rise.
I love when people come to me and say, actually, we've got the data to prove. To prove what, you little p***?
Andrew, it's not data, it's basic logic, bro. Come on, you've been around, haven't you?
Because I've just been around.
I'll tell you what, put some ice above the cup so that, as it melts, it drips into it, and guess what? The cup will overflow.
No.
Yes, Andrew, trust me, bro, trust me.
If you even look at data nowadays, you're a dumbass. You should just know. Street smart people don't need data. We've just been around. You know? I've just been around. I just know things because I've just been around.
All right, I can see that you're a lost cause, Andrew. Ignorance truly is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss.
I've just been around. I just know things because I've just been around.
Honestly, that is so relatable to me. I can't even explain it. I just know things because I've been around, because there are so many scenarios that I find myself in where I'm unable to articulate the point. I'm unable to articulate the natural reaction that I have when somebody tries to sell me garbage. I can't articulate it when somebody explains to me, well, the moon landings definitely happened because this, and the firmament, and they could get, and I'm just like, no, I don't know. Instinctually, it just doesn't.
Candace, people who say the moon landings happened don't subscribe to a firmament. You're very confused. The flat earthers believe in a firmament, not people that believe we got to the moon. Christ on a bike. You're too deep and interested.
Well, the moon landings definitely happened because this, and the firmament, and they could get, and I'm just like, no, I don't know. Instinctually, it just doesn't register to me. It just feels like that is a lie. And I've realized that I've been thinking deeply about this pagan cult that we exist in. It is backed by a false science deity. That is what it is. It is the science. Oh, this is the new God. And it is incredible to see the ways in which people worship this deity, right?
My dudes, does this sentiment from Candace and Andrew not perfectly encapsulate the core issue we're facing today?
I just know things because I've just been around.
Figures like these aren't merely disagreeing about the facts. No, they're disagreeing that there are facts to begin with. Andrew rejects that sea levels are rising because he didn't pay attention to the claim.
I love when people come to me and say, actually, we've got the data to prove what, you little
Meanwhile, Candace isn't a round earther because, well...
No, I don't know. Instinctually, it just doesn't register to me. It just feels like that is a lie.
Andrew claims that the establishment is trying to keep you in the Matrix.
The data's from the Matrix, and you are the Matrix, and the Matrix is full of lies.
While Candace claims that the establishment is trying to convert you to some pagan cult.
Oh, this is the new God, and it is incredible to see the ways in which people worship this deity.
In the case of these two, the Dunning-Krueger effect isn't just a quirk of human psychology, it's their worldview. They don't just overestimate their knowledge in one area, they apply their overestimation to all aspects of life and knowledge. They've convinced themselves that their intuition and personal experiences supersede decades, sometimes centuries of rigorous scientific research and expert consensus. You know, they both could benefit from Candace's ex-employer, Ben Shapiro.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
By dismissing scientific consensus as a pagan cult, these people create a world where any wild idea can be given equal weight to established fact. And this explains a lot about the utterly bizarre conspiracies that vitiate so many minds these days, doesn't it? This rejection of expertise and reliance on gut feelings isn't just limited to scientific topics, it extends to a wide range of issues. Take QAnon. This elaborate conspiracy theory claims that a secret cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles is running a global child trafficking ring and plotting against former US President Donald Trump. Despite its outlandish claims and lack of evidence, many far-right individuals fervently believe in it. Then there's election fraud. Baseless claims of widespread voter fraud in the 2020 US presidential election continue to circulate despite numerous court cases and audits finding no evidence of significant fraud.
If you count the legal votes, I easily win.
As covered in this video, thanks to Andrew, climate change denial is a massive one.
I can prove to you that the ice caps are melting.
Despite overwhelming scientific consensus, many continue to deny the reality of climate change, and especially human-caused climate change. Or consider the vaccine microchip mayhem.
That there's a microchip in the vaccine.
The idea that COVID-19 vaccines contain microchips for tracking people has been widely debunked, yet it persists among conspiracy theorists. I often look at these wild conspiracies and think to myself, what the actual fuck are they thinking?
No, I don't know. Instinctually, it just doesn't register to me. It just feels like that is a lie.
But as Candace and Andrew have revealed here, they're not thinking at all. They rely entirely on raw emotion, raw intuition, and this is why such mad ideas are rife.
Because I've just been around.
Their mindset creates the perfect storm for conspiracy theories to flourish. When data is dismissed, experts are distrusted, and personal intuition is elevated above evidence, any idea, no matter how outlandish, can gain traction if it aligns with one's pre-existing beliefs or biases. Worse, and this really is the worst part of it all, this approach is utterly self-reinforcing. Once someone adopts this mindset, they become more likely to dismiss any evidence that contradicts their beliefs as part of the cult of science or as part of the Matrix, making it extremely hard to change their minds or introduce new information.
Science, what it is actually, if you think about it, is a pagan faith.
In essence, what Candace and Andrew are promoting isn't just skepticism or critical thinking, it's a wholesale rejection of the tools we use to understand reality. By encouraging their followers to trust only their instincts and reject established knowledge, they're creating a world where conspiracy theories aren't just plausible, they're inevitable. But you know what? When they're caught out, when it's just too insane, you know what they could do? They could just say it was a joke. I was only joking. Of course I know how ice melts. But still, the Matrix is out to get you. Of course, I was only joking. Yeah, I'm not really someone that's for the flat earth. But, you know, I was just making a more broader point. And their audience will help them do it. They'll help them Mott and Bailey. They'll make an absolutely stupid claim, and then the audience will help them retreat to a stronger claim.
Have you seen that graph thing, that meme where you have the most stupid people and the most intelligent people do the same thing? Then you have the midwit in the middle. Data's for midwits.
Those midwits know more than you ever will, Andrew. Like how ice works.
No.
If you won't read a book, let alone the data, maybe, just maybe, try Shortform. Once again, a big thank you to Shortform. Please check out the 20% discount and free trial below. Thanks.